equals that of L.A. County. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's just a lot of fools crammed in here together. So you kind of tend to get tribal and cliquey, and you don't really tend to know your neighbors as much as you might in, say, a colder environment where you're knocking on them during the winter or whatever. And, yeah, there's just this kind of mentality where people are alone next to each other. You know what I mean? Supermarkets, DMV, wherever it is, it's just kind of like, I don't really want to know you, and I don't really want you to know me.
Yeah, it's Palmdale's kind of, that's what I don't like about it. There's a few things I do, but
we really want everyone to try and get together. Those that do, that's the thing I'm saying. I don't believe in forcing separatists to be hanging out. I don't think it's a good thing to make people who really don't want to get along with the group try and mix with them. So everybody who wants to go be alone, cool. Everybody who wants to get together, come hang out with us, and let's go down to the beach and get some
I love the beach, and we need to go. I miss swimming in the ocean. I need that, like, salty earth, mother water. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just something so purifying about the water, and I'm a Pisces, so, you know, I just feel very drawn to the water, you know?
It's really nice down there. There's a beach down in San Diego. It's probably my favorite. Hi, guys. All California called Silver Strand. I talked about it, how the water has a little flecks that might look like silver.
Yeah.
One of the few beaches you can camp efficiently in the sense that you don't have to actually pitch a tent. If you want to just pull up in your RV or your little trailer or Airstream or whatever, you just pull up in the parking lot and you camp right there, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's real nice. And hopefully by the 4th of July, we'll all be able to get out of here and go do some beach camping. A couple of our friends, Steve and Sydney, hi, guys, if you happen to be watching. We went into the Grunion Room with them down in Leo Carrillo, I think it was. There's only like 2 beaches you can actually fire in LA County more, and that's one of them down there by the pier. But, yeah, that's always fun, too. You know, you just go down there and watch them come in and a little fireside, you know, beach bar to make some s'mores.
Oh, yeah, listen, any of our friends that want to come out and hang out with us, that would be super cool.
Yeah. That
would be super cool. Oh, okay. So I've been talking a little bit about this around, and I get a little overhyped, but it's something I've been worried about. The co-discoverer of AIDS, whose name is Luc Montagnier, I believe. Montagnier?
It's either Montagnier, Montage. You guys can Google it.
It's Luc Montagnier.
He's basically one of the scientists that helped discover the actual structure of the HIV.
Yeah, he discovered it as a disease. He's a big, major guy. He did an interview on French TV in which he said that he believed that it was a created disease from the Wuhan labs, which are right there in Wuhan, right next to the markets. And he said that there were HIV proteins in it that could not happen naturally. Now, recently, some other stuff has come out saying that you really can't be reinfected with COVID, which what this is telling me is that someone is trying to weaken our immune system as a whole.
Which means you can be.
No, I heard that, like, the reinfection rate is basically 0.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. First of all, that's weird. That's just as weird as if it was 100%, okay? And secondly, what it means is the disease is a carrier for a immune system, for something that's meant to weaken our immune systems. Basically, it seems like they're trying to keep old people from being able to live as long as they've been, okay? Because, you know, technology has been making people live longer and longer and longer. And my theory is that this is meant to whittle Agenda 21, whittle people down.
Guys, listen, it's not some cutesy-poo conspiracy theory or some raving tweaker, you know, with 3 teeth in his head came with this while wearing a tinfoil hat. It's documented. It's an actual document that you can go online and look up. Is it the United Nations? Either the United Nations or who? But it's again, this is how we're going to make sure that when the world gets to a certain point, we can control the population, the food distribution, all the networks, and it's real. Its number one concern is population growth, because people are just having too many kids in their point of view. They don't want to give up. Why should I be a millionaire when I can be a billionaire? And why should I be a billionaire when I can be a trillionaire? And why should I be a trillionaire when I can own it all? And that's what most people don't understand. People that aren't inherently selfish or greedy or hateful or torturous, that can't watch my human beings suffer with anything other than repulsion, can't understand a mindset that actively feeds on that is actively charged by it, that is actually actively evil, genetically so, has been so for generations, has been inculcated from parent to parent.
It's true. Listen, things get into your DNA. This is why, I mean, I'll talk really quick about, there's been a couple years ago, there was a theory that came out that people of African descent in America had generational PTSD, that they literally have genetic triggers that make them more sensitive to certain things because of the slavery that their ancestors went through. Possible. Your DNA basically is a recording device for your consciousness. And it's why, like, if you look inside yourself, your ancestors live within you because they're in your DNA. They're part of you. They're literally inside
they can actually pass it forward, which shouldn't be possible. Once you create a child, your ability to pass things on to them in terms of the actual DNA should be mitigated, it's not completely nullified. But we can prove that there are genetic markers that show someone's had this disease or this emotional experience. Personally, whenever I get on top of something really high, I even as a kid, I can literally feel what it would feel like to plummet to the fucking earth. You know, I'm not talking like, oh, I know what it feels like to feel a few feet. I know what it feels like to, no, I can feel myself going, and then splat. I could feel that, you know what? Because one of my ancestors did. They got hucked over a cliff, or they slipped and they fell.
I mean, that's actually mainstream belief now. They actually believe that phobias are the memories of ancestral deaths, which, if that's true, nobody was conceived during someone's death except for a very few people, possibly, and none of those people fell off of cliffs, you know? I mean, that's a very...
I don't hang on tall buildings with a lot of wind.
No, it's just like people who have, like, there's a whole Native American tribe that do not have fear of heights. Genetically, they have no fear of heights.
No, that's not true. I mean, it's true they don't have fear of heights. What they don't have is vertigo.
Yeah, they don't have vertigo.
They don't get vertigo
when they get up high, and it's because none of their ancestors fell, basically.
Well, actually, this is a weird thing, but this is a fact. When they were building the New York City skyscrapers in the late 1800s, 1900s, it was like Irish black workers. Nobody that wasn't Native American was allowed to work past, I think, 30th, 40th floor.
Yeah, because they're the only ones
because they'll just walk along and look down. They don't get that sense of vertigo, that sense of, whoa.
And speaking of that, I wanted to go back. We were talking about a little bit about race last week, and I want to talk about a little bit about Eurocentrism. Because I just saw a video the other day.
Oh, God, I'm sorry.
Oh, what happened? Oh, my God.
Well, I mean, she's saying she's feeling it, I believe.
Oh, yeah. Ow. Ooh. But, like, no, I mean, okay. Apparently, up until the Middle Ages, people were starving to death on a regular basis all over the world.
When she's talking about guys, I'm not trying to cut you off from mansplaining.
No, go ahead.
You only had certain cereal crops. Basically, Africa had sorghum and millet.
Yeah.
Right? America had a little wheat and barley, and Europe had the same shit. You know what I mean? And these are fallible crops. They're subject to a lot of insect rot. They're subject to a lot of things that can go wrong with them. And plus, which is just a couple of crops. You know what I mean? They didn't really understand the concept of, they understood the concept of, like, tilling over the soil to a certain extent, but they wouldn't cross-plant things that would protect. See, the Americans...
Yeah, but that's everywhere. All of Asia, Europe, everywhere. They only had rice in Asia.
They would basically plant corn, beans, and squash together, and the reason is that, the corn grows up and it provides shade for the squash, and the squash send little vines out, and they provide root cover, and beans, but they work intrinsically with each other.
Yeah, and they put the nutrients back in the soil so that you don't have to, like, give it a rest between times.
You don't have to, like, plant a field of clover and then plow it over.
I mean, they didn't even have potatoes. Basically, people were starving to death all over the world, while here in America, Native Americans had used science to figure out how to breed their food so that it would feed lots of people, how to use guano for the perfect fertilizer. White people came in and were like, oh, this is a great idea, and they stole it and acted, and they never give Native Americans any credit when they apparently very scientifically figured out how to grow these foods, how to make them the size they are, how to make them feed large quantities of people, which were here before Columbus.
The idea of terraced,
and before the diseases wiped them out.
So that, you got this layer of potatoes here that grow like this, and you got this layer of potatoes here that grow like that. So she's saying if this particular part of the crop gets wiped out, the whole crop doesn't get wiped out.
Yeah,
this small section.
That was why they terraced, because we would develop potatoes that would grow at this type of cold weather or at this warm weather. They were geniuses with what they did.
And what always cracked me up is that, grew up in Maryland, the East Coast and the West Coast have very different attitudes toward the native peoples. Where I grew up was kind of not apologist, but just like, look, man, we came here, we did some really bad shit. There's nothing we can do to make up for it in terms of the time. All we can do is make up for it now in whatever ways we can. The best way is just to acknowledge that we did some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And okay, that's it. You did some shit. And I came out here to California, it's kind of like, we didn't do nothing wrong. I mean, we did something we didn't do. You know what I mean? This really kind of highfalutin, immature attitude, this inability to deal with it. And it always cracked me up because working at Universal Studios, we're on Cahuenga Boulevard. There was a very famous battle called the Battle of Cahuenga, which was like the last real big war between the U.S. and Mexico. Mm-hmm. Armistice was signed. There's a little museum to it right next to the metro station. All this shit, right? Half the kids I met that grew up in the San Fernando Valley have never heard of this damn thing. You know what I mean? I'm like, dude, I heard about it growing up in Maryland. How the hell did you not get this in a school 17 blocks from where the actual event occurred?
I mean, that, and let me say one thing. I know I'm going to probably sound bad saying this, but I'm gonna say really quick. I'm gonna say this. I'm white. I look white. I am white, but I'm also Hispanic. My mother was Hispanic. My grandmother was Hispanic, going back forever. Okay, and we're from California. We're specifically California Spanish people. Okay, and my first ancestor was a Basque conquistador.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And he intermarried with Native women. Okay,
Hispanics some onions. Hey, off topic.
Yeah.
Her dad likes to do this thing where he'll take our groceries and shove them right in the sunlight so the morning light hits them, so my bread goes moldy. You know, my potatoes start sprouting. I bought a bag of onions, and 2 days later, and they've got tufts like this long growing out of them, right?
Yeah.
So instead of hucking them in the garbage, I just went and planted them in the yard. So if you guys have any space and you got some vegetables that start sending out shoots or roots, potatoes, onions, whatever, just take that sucker and stick it in the ground, man. You know what I mean? It's telling you, I'll grow. You know what I mean? I'll start growing.
But the point is, my people have been. I'm connected to this land too, and the way that they have this memorial of the battle at the station, they act like it was basically the U.S. was committed a travesty against Mexico, but all the people who lived in California who were of Hispanic descent wanted to be part of America. They didn't like Mexico because it was corrupt. That's what Zorro's about. In case you didn't know, Zorro is about when California was being ruled cruelly by Mexico and they were desperate to be part of America. So that this whole thing is propaganda.
We're Spanish.
It's just propaganda.
You're a bunch of peasants. At the best, you're mestizo half-breeds. You know what I mean? So you just shut up, till the fucking land, take your little portion, and be glad we let you live on it.
Yeah, it was a bad time for a lot of people because a lot of people lost their fortunes. A lot of things happened to my family too. You know, I'm just saying, people come along and because people are more, because people are from Mexico, they're like, oh no, they're Californian. No, you're not Californian.
People in Mexico don't differentiate skin color the way people in California do.
Yeah, it's not about being brown.
If you're Mexican, you got to be dusky and swarthy. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean,
it goes to the level where people think Spanish people look like Mexican people, but they don't. Mexican people are native. Mostly native.
Pictures.
They're mixed with Spanish, but they're mostly native with a little Spanish. What you're thinking of as a Mexican person is mostly native with some Spanish ancestry. You know, they're not. Spanish people are actually white. You know, they're whiter. They're as white as I am. They're pale. They're very pale. They're white like I am. They look like Snow White. They have black hair and pale skin.
Listen, man, there's people in Alicante, in Sevilla, in parts of Spain that are very pale.
Yeah.
Blue, green eyes.
Up north in the Basque
region. Some of them are blonde, but a lot of them are very brunette, very shiny, black, Asian hair.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Black,
they literally look
very light skin, very green eyes. Listen, you go out of Mexico, any part of Mexico City, you'll see it looks like any other place, any other town, and they're all Mexicans, so to speak. But I mean, it's weird.
But there's blonde Mexicans. There's blue-eyed Mexicans
doesn't really make any sense.
that are. You can tell they're mixed, or sometimes they're just white. Sometimes they're mixed. And they're just different. You can tell there's all kinds of people in Mexico. It's not just what we think of as Mexican in L.A.
And I really think a lot of it has come over the time because when I was coming out with my grandparents and stuff, they were of Italian descent, so obviously they were much more comfortable with Latinos. But even they're lily white neighbors. My grandmother had a neighbor who was German named Heidi. You know what I mean? And she loved to go to Mexico because you didn't need a damn passport. You know what I mean? You didn't have to. You just, hey, here I am. And there was a much more free exchange of people and goods and services and a lot less of the prejudice. You know what I mean? I said this before, it's ironic. When everybody was allowed to be prejudiced and it was socially acceptable and you could talk all the shit you wanted and call people racial epithets in the street, you actually had a much smaller minority in my mind doing that. Because most people are whatever, man. I may not like people, but I'm not going to go out of my way to be an asshole as someone color their skin. I'm going to wait and judge them on their personality. And now when everyone's supposed to get along and everybody's supposed to be loving each other, it's all so horrible. There's so much more racism. There's so much more.
In L.A., there's so much racism. Palmdale is a bastion of racial tolerance in a lot of ways, with a little bit of
Yeah.
Like with a little bit of white supremacy along the edges, but
you got a few little pockets here.
And then there's